Hi, I'm Matt from the St. John Astronomy Club. Welcome to Beginner Astrophotography. In this video, Photographing Star Trails, club members Paul and Noah will guide you through how to capture stunning images that reveal the motion of the stars across the night sky. Rather than taking one long exposure, you'll learn how to take a series of shorter exposures and stack them together to create the illusion of continuous star trails. This is a modern technique that helps reduce camera noise and protect your sensor. Paul and Noah will walk you through the two main styles of star trail photography, pointing your camera at Polaris for circular trails or toward the horizon for graceful arcs. You'll learn how to set up your DSLR for this kind of shooting, including tips on focus and exposure settings. Whether you're just getting started or are ready to try your first star trail sequence, this lesson will help you take your next step under the stars. Let's get started.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about are star trails, what you need and the techniques you need to get them.
So I've never done star trails before, so what can you tell me about them? How does this work?
Oh, okay. So first of all, what star trails are? Star trails are basically long exposures that exposes the movement of the sky. Okay. So we know, or at least we think, that most people think that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, but it's actually the Earth's rotation is actually, we're moving from the west to the east, but we have the illusion that everything's coming up from the sky, moving from east to west. So, so what star trails do is just that, is that as the Earth rotates and we're standing in one area, and if we were to leave our camera just recording in one area for a long period of time, you can actually see the star traveling across the sky, which is trailing, so thus the name star trails. There are two ways to capture stars. Well, there's a number of ways to capture them, but there's two preferred angles for star trails. The one that you most commonly see is basically people pointing at Polaris and getting that nice circular motion using all the circumpolar stars and circumpolar constellations that go around Polaris. And what happens is it's almost, I call it the toilet bowl syndrome. Because in the flesh, you get the tiny little thing in the center, but you get the big waves on the outside. But a lot of people also like to shoot at the equator or between, say, the east and the southern poles. And so if you're over a lake especially, then you're going to get those really nice long arcs that looks like they're coming out of the lake. And if it's a really still night, then you'll get the reflections in the lake as well.
That's cool.
Absolutely gorgeous. And if you've got a nice mountain scene in the front, like when we can go to Mount Carlton, it's just magical. So that's the way to do star trails. There's two different methods. The first one is using Polaris. Polaris is our North Star. It's our celestial pole. So when we take our camera, and here where we live, we're about 46 degrees latitude to Polaris. So we'll take our camera and we'll aim it up right at Polaris. So now we're pointing at Polaris, the North Star, and we're going to put that North Star right in the very center of our sensor. So once we get the North Star in there, we get it all nice and centered up, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus. When you focus your camera on any kind of stars, if you don't have the new mirrorless cameras, and you will get spoiled if somebody gets you a mirrorless camera, you will get spoiled because with the new mirrorless cameras, you can actually focus on the stars without having to do it manually. Your autofocus works on the stars. But on these cameras like this one, you'll have to do it manually. So it's very simple to do. Point to Polaris. It's a relatively bright star anyway. You're going to take your autofocus and you're going to switch it to manual. You're going to take your stabilizer and turn it off. Okay? If your camera has IBIS, which is in-body image stabilization, you're going to turn that off too. Because the whole idea behind these stabilizing systems is to counter handshake. So even though it might be sitting on a tripod, sometimes those things are trying to counter something that's not there, and then you'll get movement. So you want to turn all that stuff off. Go totally manual. In your settings to focus on the Polaris, you're going to take your little screen here, which is your articulating screen. And because your camera is now going to be facing more up like this, so you don't want to have to get down and do that, right? So what you need to do is just move your screen. And that's the nice thing about having an articulating screen, is lots of times you're pointing up. Most stuff in the sky is up. Could be almost straight overhead, right?
Only problem I'm seeing right now is the interferometer's in the way.
We're gonna move that. So let's just take that out of the way. And this is actually a video tripod anyway.
Yeah.
So, but if you had like just like a regular tripod for doing camera work, that would work absolutely wonderful. So typically what will happen is you're going to be pointed up, you're articulating the screen. The reason you're using that, let me see which way this one goes.
It can't turn.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying. I'm going to take that off for a minute. There we go.
There we go.
So now we can turn that. So that's the nice thing about having this kind of a screen on your camera.
Yeah.
When that pops out and moves back and forth, is everything we shoot at is up.
Yeah.
So unless you want to lay on the ground all night long, this will actually be your best friend.
Yes.
So then what you're going to do is you're going to point this up to Polaris. You're going to center Polaris in here. And then on the back of your camera, you have this little magnifying glass. And it basically is your zoom control.
Yeah.
So you're going to push this once, it'll give you 5 times zoom. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to manually take the ring up here, which is your focus ring. Right here on this one,
right
I guess.
there. Yeah.
So you're going to take your focus ring and you're going to zoom it in and get that Polaris as small as it can be.
Yeah.
Then you're going to keep going and you're going to see that it's going to get bigger again. Then you're going to go the opposite way. You're going to go back. That's called racking. So you're going to rack in and out of Polaris until you'll know where that smallest spot is. Then you're going to press that zoom button one more time. It's going to go to 10 times. Now you've got a really, really good magnification.
Yeah.
And you'll do the same procedure again where you're going to rack in and out. Once you've got that racked, then you just leave it alone for the rest of the night.
All right.
Okay? Now, if you, for doing trails, we need to do long exposures.
Yes.
So most cameras, especially like these ones here, the timer that's built into them will go up to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to set your camera to a 30-second exposure.
Yeah.
Right? That way there you can use the 30-second exposure, and there's actually a continuous shoot on your camera that you can use, so that as soon as you press that down, it'll continually take all the shots for you. But there's no interval.
Yeah.
So sometimes you want to have that interval. And the reason for that, a couple of reasons, is you want to give the camera time to write the information that's going from the camera sensor to the card.
Okay.
There's a writing speed that you have to consider. So usually if you leave it a couple of seconds between, so if you're doing this manually with an intervalometer or just a button, if you do that and leave it for a couple of seconds in between, it gives you enough time to write all the information before you take the next shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so so you're going to want to do it to 30 seconds. As far as exposure is concerned, the rule of thumb for this stuff is ISO 400.
Okay.
The shutter, the aperture on your lens will be as wide as you can make it.
Yep.
Right, because you want as much light to come in as possible. So in a lens like this, if it's at 18 to 55, so it's probably like an f3.5 or something.
F4.
F4, yeah.
F4.
So F4, so you put it at F4 because that's the widest aperture you have in there, and then your ISO value should probably be right around 400.
All right.
And you can experiment with that a little bit until you find the shot that you want or find the brightness value that you want. Once you've got that set up, basically it's just a matter of pushing your button and just letting it roll. Now you mentioned this camera runs by Wi-Fi.
Yes. So this camera, I have set it up so if I hit my little display button on the top, it will open up a menu that I can hit to connect to the Wi-Fi on my phone. So, on my phone, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but there is the Canon Camera Connect app. And if you go into your settings, the camera Wi-Fi will pop up, and then you can connect it to this. So then there's a shoot mode, and it'll look pretty much exactly like the screen on here, where you can, like, take photos. You have a little button, like, on here, but then you don't get any shaking because you're not touching your camera.
Perfect.
And also, it somewhat works as an intervalometer as well. You can hold down the button and just take as long of a shot as you want, or you can set it to automatically take shots.
Okay, so you can program it to do whatever intervals you want and whatever exposure length that you want.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another cool thing about that app is because you're using that app and you don't have your screen out, you can actually have your screen tucked away, turned off, and you will actually get better battery life.
Yes.
So that's a really good thing. Speaking of battery life, make sure that you've got a good fresh battery that's charged up.
Definitely.
Make sure you have an extra battery or
Yup.
2 charged up, and carry at least 2 SD cards. I don't know. This is
Yeah.
a single card camera.
Yes.
So some cameras have dual card slots, some cameras have single. So just make sure that you have an extra SD card, because you know what'll happen. You'll have all those photos you took of that birthday that afternoon, and you've got 2 spots left. So it's an Uncle Jimmy or Aunt Barb that's going to be out of the sit, so I can get my star trails. So anyway, so make sure you get lots of SD card capability. One other thing that I recommend too is a heating system. So you can have a dew strap, which is just a little strap that is just like what you see
That?
right there.
Yep.
That's a dew strap. So that's just basically a strap, a couple of wires in it that you plug in that will heat up your lens.
Okay.
And it'll keep it just a couple of degrees above ambient so that you don't get the dew on there.
Oh, okay.
If you do not have one,
Yeah.
no pun intended. Actually, the pun was intended. So if you do not have one, you can use those little hand warmers you buy.
Uh-huh.
So make sure you get a couple of nice big elastics with you.
Yeah.
Put the hand warmer over your lens, the elastic
Okay.
one on, and once you do that, then focus.
Yeah.
Okay, because you don't want to do that after you focus,
Yeah.
because you'll be out of focus. And do that, and that should get you through the whole star trail
Okay.
thing. Once you've got that all done, we will talk about how to stack the star trails and make an absolute easy picture in Photoshop and in Star Stacks. And that is a little bit about star trails.
Thanks, Paul and Noah, and thank you for joining us for this lesson on photographing star trails. We hope it inspired you to head outside and try capturing the stars in motion for yourself. Next up in the Beginner Astrophotography series, photographing the Milky Way, followed by lessons on photographing planets, choosing gear, and stacking and processing your images. If you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out our moon calendar and other resources at SJAstronomy.ca. Until next time, clear skies and happy shooting.